Hey guys, welcome back to Read Instead. I'm Jake. Glad to have you here today. I can't believe 2024 is almost coming to a close. We're at the end of November. So I figured let's talk about what I plan on reading for the month of December. Okay, again, guys, I can't believe how fast this year has flown by. I don't know what it is. You guys let me know if you can relate to this, but I feel like the older I get, time just goes by faster, it's difficult to understand because logically, a second is a second, a minute is a minute, an hour is an hour, a day is a day. Those things never change, but I just feel like the older I get, they do go by faster. Maybe it's because the older you get, the busier you are and the more responsibility you have, so you have less time to actually contemplate time, if that makes sense. I don't know what it is, but I can't believe we're at the end of 2024 already. Speaking of my reading journey as it relates to 2024, I have said this multiple times on this channel. I've had a great reading year. I've had one dud this entire year. I did finish it. I didn't DNF any books this year. There was one that I just didn't like. I will let you guys know what that book is before the end of the year, I promise. But otherwise, I've had a great reading year, really bouncing around from genre to genre. I've read good fantasy books, good science fiction books. I've read good dramas, historical fiction books, everything. I mentioned this a few videos ago that after I finished the science fiction book that I'm reading now by Dan Simmons called The Fall of Hyperion, which I'm really enjoying, by the way. Really enjoying. It's just like exploding my mind too. It's one of those books that I can't even. It's to try to describe it. I don't know how I'm ever gonna do a proper review of these books by Dan Simmons, but I'll figure that out when I get to it. But anyway, next on the agenda is Rabbit Run by John Updike. I've never read a John Updike book before. I feel like he's an American treasure. If you just Googled great American authors, I feel like he'd show up on just about every list that you would find. Fun fact, he spent the last 20 or 30 years of his life like right down the street from me here, which is pretty cool, on the North Shore of Massachusetts. But this is his magnum opus, this series of 4 books. Rabbit is this man's nickname. I believe his last name is Angstrom. And I read this quote from John Updike in doing my research on John Updike and also this series. And he had this beautiful quote, and he said the way in which he writes is he has the motivation to give the mundane its beautiful due. Give the mundane its beautiful due. I understand exactly, what he means by that. And this is about an ordinary man living in middle-class America, a religious man like most Americans were 60 years ago or so. And he's just trying to do the right thing by his family, by his children, and the inner moral dilemmas that we all have as human beings. And I think from what I understand about this series and about this novel is that John Updike really, it's very internal, and he really focuses in on that. So I think this will be a great sort of palate cleanser for me too, because I read Wrath by John Gwynne, big epic fantasy book. Now I'm reading the science fiction book, The Fall of Hyperion by Dan Simmons, and it'd be nice to just get back to reality, so to speak. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's going to be first up for the month of December for me. Okay, next on the list. I made a video like a month and a half ago just kind of going over about 9 or 10 books that I wanted to finish before the end of 2024. I've done pretty well at that. I've finished most of them. There are a few on there that I know that I'm not going to get to just because of the sheer size of them. I don't know what it is with me in 2024, but I feel like the average page count for the books that I've read this year is like 600 pages. I didn't do that on purpose. I just picked out what I wanted to read, and it just ended up being larger books. But that's okay. I used to get all worked up about I have to read this amount of books in a year and stuff like that. And it's like I just want to read good books. I don't want to I don't want to waste my time. I want to enjoy my time reading and consume entertaining things and things that move me. So, you know, when you invest in a book, it's more of an investment than, you know, watching a movie. A movie is only 2 hours of your life. A book is a lot longer than that. So I just want to read good books. I don't care if they take me a week and a half to finish. I don't care if they take me 1 day to finish. I just want to read good books. That's where I'm at in my reading journey now. But having said that, this next book that I plan on reading in December was not on that list. I'm throwing this in because it's been recommended to me by so many people. And that is David Benioff's City of Thieves. David Benioff is one of the creators of the Game of Thrones HBO series. So I guess he was an author before that. I didn't know that about him. And this is a nice little mystery book that takes place in Russia. And I don't know much else about it. I believe it's like two young kids sort of happen upon a body sort of thing. And but I've heard nothing but good things about it. It has a high rating on Goodreads, and I think it'll work well to wrap up this year for me. It'll be a good December read. So that's next on the list for the month of December. City of Thieves by David Benioff. Okay, so it seems like I have one drama sort of character study on there, and that would obviously be the Rabbit Run book by John Updike. I have a mystery, and now I'm going to add a thriller to that list, and that is The Day of the Jackal by Frederick Forsyth. Is it Forsyth or Forsyth? I'm not sure. I'm going to say Forsyth. The reason why I want to read this book is because one of my favorite authors, I saw an interview on YouTube of one of my favorite authors, and that being Ken Follett, the British author, Ken Follett, and he said his favorite thriller of all time was this right here, The Day of the Jackal. So that was enough. That was enough to sell me on reading this book. You know, if your favorite author or one of your favorite authors says that this is one of their favorite books, that's an easy sell for me. So The Day of the Jackal, I know just about nothing about it. I want to keep it that way. A thriller where sort of the one who is trying to be apprehended stays one step ahead of those who are trying to apprehend him. That's all I know about it. But I'm looking forward to it. So, character study, drama, character study / drama, then to a mystery, then a thriller. Number 3 on the list for the month of December. Okay, and last but not least for the month of December, ever since I picked this book up and I've asked a few people about it, those who have read it, I've a few friends of mine, a couple of family members have read this book. I've heard, again, nothing but good things. I have the paperback version here. I also have the hardcover on the shelf here. By the way, beautiful set of hardcovers that they came out with in this particular series, and that being Diana Gabaldon's Outlander. I'm just going to hold on to this one if you don't mind. I guess this would be called, it's historical fiction / fantasy. I don't know much else besides that. Something about a nurse and going back to, it takes place somewhere in Scotland. Again, I know very little about it. I just know that it's really good. And the sources in which I received that information from, the ones who told me that it was good, I trust. I'm looking forward to this. This will wrap up the month of December for me, and it will wrap up the year of 2024. I'm just going to read the little blurb on the front by the San Francisco Chronicle. Ready? Great fun, marvelous, and fantastic adventures, romance, sex, perfect escape, reading. Hey, that's why I read, to escape. So that sounds good. That sounds good to me. Cool. So that's it on the agenda for me for December and for the rest of 2024. So that's going to be it for me, guys. Let me just tell you guys some upcoming videos that I think you might be interested in that I plan on making. Of course, sometime in the next week, I'm going to wrap up the month of November, just go over what I read for the month of November. I'll pick out my book of the month. I also want to make a video just talking about books and series that I want to pick up in the year of 2025. Going into that year, there's many things that I already have in my mind that I want to start in on. So I'm going to put out a video for that. And then, of course, at some point, this probably will be right at the beginning of January, but at some point I need to wrap up this entire year, and I will make a top 10 list for the year of 2024, my top 10 favorite books of 2024. So those are some sort of topical videos that you guys can look forward to coming up in the next month. And then, of course, I'm going to continue to make my sort of random book reviews that any books that I've read in the past few years that I want to review and share with you guys. I'll make those. And then, of course, my immediate reaction videos that I make as soon as I finish a book. I try to, within a half hour or so, I try to give my raw, unfiltered, unthought out reaction to the book. So those are all things you guys can look forward to coming up in the next few weeks. I hope you guys are reading something good. I hope you're jumping on this journey just like I did 3 or 4 years ago, this reading journey. It's been life-changing for me. Let me know what you guys are reading in the comments. If you've read any of the books that I plan on reading in December, without spoiling anything, tell us what you thought of them. All right, you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care.